Hello, I am the Leech. Despite what you may hear or learn about me in the coming months, whatever they try to tell you, I assure you, I am no terrorist. I am no monster. I only seek to tell you the truth, the things they do not want you to hear. I stand for justice. I believe that knowledge is power, and that the power must once again lie in the hands of the people. I will show you the truth. You must make the judgment. Today's truth is one of a war story. I have gone through the audio myself and edited out some of the more disturbing scenes. But nevertheless, I think you will find the painful truth lies here. Enjoy.
I am First Lieutenant Adam Miller from Athens, Georgia, where I was born and raised.
What is the name of your platoon?
We are the Spartans.
Hey, anyone else here find a funny professor wants us to go by the Spartans? Homesick much?
Shut it, Cahone! I don't understand why we're doing this anyways. Krauts are retreating. We need to be on them, not sneaking around like a bunch of...
No, Lieutenant. Now, please, state your mission.
We are to retrieve an asset deep behind enemy lines, codenamed Charlie. We must get there before the Ruskies do, or there is a good chance this won't be the last World War this century. Our mission will be kept quiet and secret. No record we were ever here. Which is why I think we should be recording all of this, Doc.
I know, but intelligence wants us to keep these things on file. Not discussing them with the public is one thing. Losing complete sight of what really happened.
No bueno. Thanks for the clarification.
This recorder will be coming with you, Lieutenant. You are to record every day, every movement as it happens. Is that clear?
Clear as day, Doc.
Good. You may go.
Okay, platoon, let's move out. Date, April 15th, 1945. Time, 22:07 hours. We have been on the move for just over a day now, walking along what is effectively now our side of the Rhine. We've been told to head north towards Hamburg. Apparently the Krauts have a couple of facilities up there that we need to look into. I'm still on the fence about a lot of this. I still question why I have to record these things. I don't imagine it'll be anything more than kindling in a couple years anyway. But I guess it's not always worth knowing why we are to do what needs to be done. I know a lot of people are counting on us right now to find out what these lunatics are really up to and to find a way to put a stop to it. I've heard rumors about what happens to the men unfortunate enough to get caught. I don't intend to be one of them.
Is this thing recording?
Of course it's recording. See? The light's red.
Okay, good. So, I'm Private Cahone. This is Private Weller.
I'm telling you, this is a
We took this
terrible idea.
recorder so we could go on record that we're going to wager a bet. We're betting on who will collect 20 Kraut tags first. Winner gets $20. What does the loser get, Weller?
I don't want to say it. Okay, fine. Loser has to kiss the lieutenant.
On the lips!
The whole platoon's gonna hear you. I only agreed to this so I can see the look on your face when you have to tell the lieutenant to pucker up.
April 16th, 1945. Time, irrelevant. I noticed this morning my recorder wasn't where I left it. Played back the audio and heard about Private Cahone and Private Weller's little bet. I assumed they'd expect me to call them out, make a scene, and give them for it all in one swift move. Instead, I think I'll give them a slow burn. Let them carry a little extra weight for the next couple of days. See how that feels. Who knows? Maybe after they take a couple of full night shifts together, they'll find a couple of tags for their collection. Idiots.
Welcome back. You are listening to The Truth here on WMXM 88.9 FM radio. We'll be back in a bit, but for now, how about we enjoy some of the tunes close to my heart? Hello again. You are listening to WMXM radio. Now, back to The Truth.
April 20th, 1945. Time, 2300 hours. We finally crossed the Rhine and met up with our allies at the checkpoint. The Brits to the east have been doing some pretty nasty work over there. The Allies basically own this part of Germany. The siege on Hamburg is waiting for us. We'll need to cover a lot more ground than we have been pretty soon. Some of these men haven't seen much action since Aachen. And even then, a lot of them are farm boys who'd probably never killed old Yeller. I fear they may not even be ready to taste blood. But they've made it this far. They deserve credit for that. I'd like to think that the Krauts are at the ends of their ropes, but I'm not quite sure from what I heard that the city will be quite as easy as we like it to be. Supposedly, our communist allies are pushing their pieces a lot harder to get their hands on the Hamburg menace as well. Charlie hasn't sent us a signal in a while. We fear he may have been compromised. Nevertheless, the mission continues until we get to Hamburg and find out whatever these Nazi have in store for us. April 21st, 1945. Time, 21:11 hours. We have finally received word from Charlie. We are to go onward with the siege of Hamburg as planned. We'll be moving towards the city tomorrow. I sense Private Cahone holds a bit of contempt for me. Naturally, at first I thought nothing of it, but he has been actively defying every order, albeit subtly, and oftentimes talking behind my back. He has little regard for the mission at hand, goofs off frequently, and says things that I believe are intentionally pointed to throw me off. The lieutenant in me says I should beat his sorry ass into the ground, tell him to shape up or get out. However, I think an intervention should happen perhaps prior to our arrival in Hamburg. I'm not sure when, but I do want to make a point to him that if he is not going to serve us right, he will be sent home disgraced.
Hello. This is Private Charles Cahone of the Spartan. I don't know what Professor's been telling you about me, but he has no right. I'm my own man, and everything I do has a purpose. You can always leave it to his type to exaggerate things, try and find some extra meaning in the details. Well, let me spare you the chat and lay it out plain and simple. I've been listening to what the guys who've been coming back from the scout missions are saying. No one here wants to see more action than they have to. But according to them, Hamburg is filled with monsters. Supposedly, they somehow got some kind of advanced weaponry too. Something otherworldly, they said. Sounds like a bunch of bull if you ask me. But I take it as all the more reason we should be trying to get out of here. I know I don't want to get shot by some space bug thing, but I really don't want the professor to hear this message, so I paid close attention to where his recorder was this time. Willard said he probably figured out the bet we made last time because I didn't put the recorder back where I found it. I won't make that mistake again. Cahone out.
April 25th, 1945. Time, 20:27. We have set up camp with the British 7th Division just outside Hamburg. An assault on the city is being made perhaps as soon as tomorrow. We've been told to stay behind for the first couple of days. We're too important, they say. Not sure what it means, but I won't try to argue. Supposedly Hamburg is surging with some sort of new chaotic weaponry. No one knows where it came from. Our assets are trying to take a lot of it before the initial attack, but their success seems limited. For the past couple of days, they've been milking this Charlie character for information on the German machines and tactics, as well as trying to find out what the creatures swarming the city are. Recently, there have been strange reports coming back from the city. Supposedly it's crawling with some kind of odd monsters. I've heard all kinds of descriptions: crabs, roaches, beetles, trilobites. Some people have been coming back from scouting missions supposedly sent back for trauma. I'm not sure what the Krauts are over there, but it seems whatever it may be, it's a nasty looking thing. Charlie also reported that they recently captured a small group of Russian soldiers trying to sneak into one of the camps just outside Hamburg. From the sound of it, it seems like they may have gotten what they wanted: free admission in. It sounds like the competition's beginning, a race to see who's first. The prize, no one knows, but everybody wants it. We'll just have to get it first. April 28th, 1945. Time, 2017. We head out for Hamburg tomorrow, but before we do that, I intend to have an intervention with Cahone. I believe there is something we must discuss first.
You want to see me, Lieutenant?
Sit down, Cahone. As I am sure you are aware, we are headed out to Hamburg tomorrow. Now, I'll be quite frank. As things stand now, I don't see you going.
Okay. I won't go then.
Sit down, Cahone. I'm not finished yet. Now, I know something's been bothering you all week. I admit I don't know what it is, but I was hoping that before we parted ways, you'd tell me, up front and personal, what your issues are. That way, I can make a fair report on your dismissal.
You aren't recording this, are you?
That's not what I'm asking you about, Cahone.
You are, aren't you? I see that little light on.
And how would you know the light means it's on, Cahone?
Oh, don't you play me for a fool, Professor. I know you heard my recordings, but you have no right to be recording this.
As a matter of fact, I have every right, Cahone. I have every right to put anything you say to me during this mission on record, so whatever it is you want to tell me, don't hesitate, because it's all going to be right here waiting for you.
You know, that right there is what I hate about you. Always using that thing to talk behind my back, make me look bad. Always thinking you're one step ahead of everyone else because you're an intellectual. Always your type's looking down on the rest of us farm boys, thinking you're all high and mighty, telling us what we ought to think and do.
Oh, really? And what type is that?
The smart type. The professor type. The type that told my daddy he wasn't worth sending shop to find another one of these boars. Do you know what he did to my mom when he finally got home with one-armed professor? And out comes me, some child nobody wants, ought to fight another war. That's my problem with you, Teach. Now what you got to say about that?
You know, I'm not the one who told your daddy he wasn't worth anything. My father was a military man, too. And though he was proud of it, he had issues, just like most men. He wasn't a great man, but he was good enough. And I am here because of him, the same way I imagine you are. But you see, Private, the key difference between you and me is I knew there were other options out there for me. I didn't hate my teachers because they thought I wasn't smart. I didn't quit my job as a professor in biology because I thought I was better than everyone else. I did this as a patriot, a lover of my country. I could have done a million things differently, but there is no doubt in my mind that I would still be here today talking to you. Now tell me, Private, do you want to be here? We leave at 0500 tomorrow. You make your choice by then. Oh, and Private, assuming you're joining us tomorrow, I want you to have this. It occurred to me earlier today, you probably are the only other person who knows it exists, let alone how to use it. If I die out there, I expect you to take it from me.
Trying to make me feel like I mean something to you?
I'm not trying to make you feel like you're worth something. I'm making sure your ass gets out alive.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Truth here on WMXM 88.9 FM. Before we get back to our regularly scheduled program, allow me to do a pop quiz. War. What is it good for? We'll be back shortly with the answer. Welcome. You're listening to WMXM Radio. Do you know what the answer is now? Do I even have to say it? Now, back to The Truth.
Cahone, is that thing on?
It's on, sir.
Okay, when Weller gets back, I want you to catch his report with that thing. You got it. Good. Status, Weller.
It's a snafu, sir. The German forces have our allies pinned. Our promised gateway in is going to need a different pair of keys.
And I'm guessing we're going to be the ones supplying the keys.
That is correct, sir.
Okay, men, let's get ready to
Grenade!
Cahone!
It's on!
Sir, what are those things?
I don't know, but we'll need to take them out. Aim for the legs.
It's on!
Weller, status.
There's one in the air, one on the second story, and two on the first floor.
29th, 1945. It's bad out here. The Germans are not alone. They have employed the help of some crab creatures to fight us off. Whenever we kill one, though, their bodies just evaporate. What the have they been doing up here? April 29th, 1945. Time. We've begun to understand how these creatures function. They may be horrid looking, but they're clumsy. They make mistakes. Only problem is there's too many to fight at once. They just keep coming out of the sky. I don't know how much more of this we can take. April 29th, 1945. We've procured some of the Germans' advanced weaponry. No idea how it works, though. From what I've seen, should be able to tear through the krauts and the crabs quickly. Cahone has been pretty badly... Weller, status!
The tanks appear to be heading south, towards Schumacher.
That's where Franklin's men are, correct? No doubt they don't have the weapons to fight off those things. We need to provide support.
Sir, do you even know how that thing works?
Well, we're gonna have to find out. Franks, what's the status on Cahone?
It's not looking good, sir.
Is there anything we can do?
The crowds have us pinned. I don't think so.
Where is he?
Over there.
What's your honest opinion on his condition, Franks?
Honestly, I wish we had some of that German healing technology right now. Unless he's got bad, he won't make it through the night.
Thank you, Franks. April 13th, 1945. Time, midnight. We lost Cahone. Promised the boy I'd get his home, but I didn't think it'd be in a box. Weller's taken it hard. The two were close, to say the least. Weller won the bet. Thought that might be worth mentioning. It was a close race, though. Cahone was only 2 down. Turns out the farm boy had good aim. Tomorrow, or today rather, if things go as planned, we'll be headed up towards one of the camps while one of the Brits companies begins to backtrack for supplies. It seems this will be more of a push than expected. It'll take a while to clear out the Nazi forces. They'll also be taking the bodies of our soldiers to be sent home to their families, Cahone included. In summary of today's events, we learned that the Germans, in their desperate attempt to retain power, decided to make a deal with hell itself, summoning some foul flying beasts with strange, rope-like tendrils and voices that had the consistency of sandpaper. I was a professor of biology for 7 years, and I can honestly say I know not how these things can even function. Their bodies make up shapes that seem incapable of existing, to say the least. When they said the Germans had monsters and advanced technology, I can honestly say this was not something we were prepared for. I've heard, however, that the creatures are begging to pull back, flying back to wherever they came from. They say we've almost won the battle. If I were to be honest, this whole situation's foobar.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Truth here on WMXM 88.9 FM. Sounds like our story is about to wind down. What will happen next? Will the group meet codename Charlie? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. Until then, let's listen to some music to lighten the mood. So, are you ready for the conclusion of our little tale now? Are you ready for the truth? We'll see. You're listening to WMXM. Get ready, because this story is about to take a turn.
What happened here?
It's a concentration camp. I've heard stories about these places. This is where they kept Jewish people as slaves until they couldn't work anymore. Then they killed them. But that was if you were lucky. If you were unlucky, you got all kinds of experiments done on you. They'd tie you down, inject you with some chemical concoction of the day, and you'd be left to rot as whatever they stuck you with killed you slowly. Can you imagine?
At this point, I'd rather not. Weller?
Camp's deserted. Sir, there's no one left.
We need to keep looking. They said Charlie would meet us here.
sir. It's been a few hours.
The day is still young, Weller. We need to find and secure Charlie. That is the mission.
Yes, sir.
Is this place?
Looks like one of the labs they used to experiment in.
What's in these tubes?
Franks, don't touch that!
Ah!
I've told you not to touch it!
What is it?
Dead.
Sounds like a little girl.
Weller, I thought you said the place was deserted.
It was.
Then what is that?
Charlie?
You're telling me Charlie is a little girl? Fine. We move on in my queue. Ready?
Helena? Helena!
At ease, everyone. Weller, you speak German.
A little... Hello. Where... Wissen Sie?
Helena? Wo ist Helena?
Helena.
Sie ist meine Schwester. Wo ist sie?
What is she asking, Weller?
She wants to know where her sister is.
Tell her we don't know.
Es tut mir leid. Ich weiß nicht.
Sind sie...
Wir sind Amerikaner. Ich bin Private Weller. Hier ist Lieutenant Miller. Hier ist Sergeant Franks. Und hier ist Private...
Hat wir verloren?
Ich weiß nicht.
Lost? Hat wir lost?
Pretty much. We need to take her back to camp.
We can't do that until...
Until what? We find Charlie?
Watch your tone, Private!
We have fought through to get here. And walked around all day through crazy... only to find that there's nothing. Nothing. I've told you several times the place is deserted. This little girl is all that's here. And to be honest, she probably just got here.
In case you have forgotten, Weller, we had a mission. Our mission was to make it here and secure our inside source. A source that, I might add, gave us the ability to survive that in the first place. Now, I understand your frustration, Private, I really do. But do you think I am going to let all of this running around we've been doing end up being a wild goose chase?
That's all it ever was. A wild goose chase. We haven't done anything except... Well... Oh my, Lieutenant, you're gonna love this.
Love what? What's the... You're kidding me. You're kidding me. What is this? Lieutenant Miller, good work. You're all finished here. Please return your recorder along with this girl to Dr. Hunter Redmond Herring at your soonest convenience. Thank you for your service. Charlie.
So, is that it then?
April 30th, 1945. Time, 22:19. At Weller's request, we have decided to take this little German girl back to camp with us. The things we've seen here today, and the past couple of days, I wonder about our security. Franks insists that history will remember these days for what they were. The creatures the Germans employed the help of and their technology. Knowing our agencies, though, I doubt this. Most of the remnants of these otherworldly beings has been confiscated and or dismantled. Their bodies disappeared, disintegrated, supposedly, soon after death. However, in the tank Franks found back in one of the labs, I got a close look at the beast while it was unconscious and studied the biology of it. Very little of what I saw made sense, even from my background in advanced biological studies. The creatures appeared to be a mix of crustacea and chordate, crab and bat. However, it also has some plant-like properties, particularly at the base of its neck, or rather, where the neck should be. Out of the neck extend long, silk-like tendrils about the width and look of sea anemones. If I were to guess, and believe me, this is a guess, a very imaginative one at that, the buzz of their voices and the way they speak is through the vibrations of these tendrils, similar to how a human vibrates their vocal cords to produce sound. Given the majority of these features I could gather at the time, it appears that these beings would be best suited for a watery environment. But then, it also has wings, which leads me to question further where it belongs. I saw its flight patterns during the fighting. They do not seem to know how to fly in our atmosphere. Perhaps they live in a place where the atmosphere has some kind of consistency similar to that of water. But again, it's only a guess. Nevertheless, I hope to be able to further study these creatures after the war is over, but I doubt I'll get to. It's ending, right now, as we speak. I've heard rumors that the Germans' head Kraut is dead, but I'm not sure it's true, yet. I hope so, but I remain a skeptic, something I find increasingly hard to be recently. May 4th, 1945. Time, 0700 hours. Word's finally gotten out that their almighty Fuhrer killed himself the day we found her. Those remaining are planning a formal surrender. The war is almost over, but not for us. We are about to turn the little girl over to Dr. Herring, but this doesn't feel right. I don't know what's been going on here, but I sense the doc has something planned for her beyond what even we know. To be honest, I fear for everyone's safety. Weather's gone crazy, to say the least. The kid's full-on paranoid, which probably is a more sane reaction to the past month than most of us have given. This will be my last recording. To anyone who hears this, let it be known that everyone here knows more about what's going on than we do. Whatever lie they tell you, from here on out, you know the truth. There's always someone who knows more than you, and who will keep that knowledge for themselves because they know knowledge is power. Then what will happen to the girl, Doc? That little girl is a weapon? You told me before, Doc. I get it.
They killed him. They killed Miller and Franks, and I'm the only one left. I was able to get out. I knew something wasn't right. I knew it. I'm going back for the girl. Miller used this thing to tell the truth, so will I. These beasts are everywhere. In the military, in the government, our government. I saw one of those crowd things again, talking to Harry. That lying. He set us up. Focus, Miller, focus. I need to get the girl. I'm telling what they'll do to her. I'm keeping this recorder with me. If anyone hears this, then I did my job. If no one hears this, I'm sorry.
Well, it appears Miller achieved his mission. But you must make the judgment. Was it worth it? Was the price these men paid for a girl they never knew worth the cost? This is the truth. I'll see you next time.